matches that are taking place and so on that we will look to cast for replays later, we won't let you guys know about, because the whole idea is we kind of want to, well, you know, we kind of want to be able to cast it without you guys being like, oh, well, we know what happens, spoilers, 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 you know, because it does take a little bit away from the games. So that's the current plan. So far we have Drogo 0-2 after losing out to Cham, Snute 2-0 after winning against Demilov. And we start off into our second series live here on the stream today with our blue Protoss player. To the bottom left hand side of the map from my insanity, it is PtitDrogo. He's going up against the red Zerg player to the upper right hand side from Team Liquid. It is Snute. What's up everyone in the chat? How are we doing? Thank you so much for joining us here today. Premium in the chat's doing good, just woke up. Got some Euthermal Vinces in the chat. We will be casting some Optimus games as the day goes by, fear not. They will be coming. Dragonstall is very sleepy. Good stuff, guys, good stuff. As we see Snute with the free hatch before pool opening here. On obviously a very large and macro-focused map. Takes that third hatch even out on the map. That's how confident Snute feels right now, not even feeling the need to take it in base. It is something which Snute does quite a lot, actually, which is to kind of ignore the in-base expansion. He used to do this way back when on Varney Research Station and other maps that have had these in-base expansions, which are kind of exposed to like a dropping path up the right side or so. This is something that Snute really does kind of enjoy doing. So no surprise to see him doing it here on Acolyte. We'll see how it pays out for him. And so far, Drogo is very much so informationless. Has not scoured, and I guess we'll see where we go from there. Say68 in the chat says he's stoked for some Snute. Warrior in the chat got some Snute cheers coming on through as well. And this is the OSC Master Cup number 100, guys. It is $1,000 plus on the line here for this event. Super exciting to be able to bring this to you guys. We've been casting this. We casted a whole bunch of this. We casted 4 qualifiers for this event last, about 2 weeks or so ago. Then last week before I went away, we did groups A and B, which saw players such as Neeb, Euthermal, Semper, Neeb, Euthermal, Semper. Who else actually advanced through? I'm just going to go and have a quick peek. In Group A, Neeb, Euthermal, and the Laser advanced through in that order. And Penguin, Shanna, and Semper advanced through in Group B. Bly, I think one of the biggest names to be knocked out so far. Now, finishing first in your group does have a bit more of an importance. If you finish first, you go straight into the round of 8, rather than the round before that, the round of 12, which is where the second and third place finishes go. So basically you get a bye of 1 extra round if you do finish first in your group, which is pretty nice. And there's something which I imagine players will be, of course, aiming for. As you are waiting for those playoffs, so just wondering when the rest of the OSC Masters Cup is going to be. Friday, we bring you guys Group D. Going to be fantastic, featuring Ryung, Keen, Harstam, and more. And then we go on Saturday into the first day of playoffs, and Sunday for playoffs day number 2. Best of 2, that makes no sense. We've had this argument and discussion on the stream so many times in the past couple of weeks. The reality is, it makes no sense. Well, I mean, it really depends how you think of it. Like, basically, you just play 2 maps. It's the terminology which is used always in CSGO, Dota 2, other games in esports, which use best of 2s. It's the terminology that's used. Basically, I mean, basically, it's just best of 2, right? Like, draws are allowed. I don't know, like, to me, best of 2 makes sense. Like, it just means, like, you play best of 2 maps, which means you can draw, or you can win, or, yeah, like, basically. It's a tough one to really explain, but, it is just based on the kind of tournament format here, and the fact that it is a round-robin group is a little bit different to what we might usually get to, play and show, and all the rest of it. Snute opening with the Rotron here as the Stalker pushes this Overlord up the left-hand side. It was this DT opening yet again from PtitDrogo, as we saw in the last game against Cham. As first 2 Archons come in here, and there is already Spores in position. A few Lings and a Queen. The first Roach is on the way out as Drogo will move in towards the third base where the Lings are. Not really much to turn these Archons away just yet. Some drones will try and pull away. Free Workers going down already. Lings coming through as well. And the second Queen going to start to help targeting down that Warp Prism now, and really helping to push this back just a little further. And 7 more drones coming up here. We're going to be seeing the Forge coming down in the main base as well. So setting up in towards that. A few more Zalps also being warped in. Some Zerglings working their way through the rocks here. You see actually Drogo going to continue to come into a little bit of an attack in this main. Warped in a few Zealots, which is going to buy a little bit of time for the Archons to hit them and relying to do a bit more damage. The Archons get lifted up again, and they're going to be moving down the right-hand side. So Archons pulling back down this right-hand side, and just having a little bit of a look around to see what they could maybe get up to next. Lair is about halfway done. The Evolution Chamber starting up here from Snute as well. So you see these two Archons dropping down. Queen's taking a whole bunch of hits as the Lings come in and wrap around. Archons are taking quite a bit of damage, man. Really taking quite a lot of damage, but obviously the Prism is still there to pick them back up. They'll drop back down, get another couple of Zerglings. Just keep dropping around. It's exactly what you want to be doing with the Archon drop. Keep the Zerg busy, stop him from, don't give him the time to set up into what he wants to play. Snute going to opt for a missile upgrade here of the Hydralisk Den coming on down, and might just be because he already has so many Roaches, he'll aim to play a Roach Hydra sort of composition, maybe into faster Lurkers, than that sort of Ling Vane Hydra, which we've become so accustomed to in the matchup. The Archons drop around once again. We are going to be seeing the Cryptoma being picked up. We're just going to be seeing the Archons again. Actually, very nearly getting a Queen there. Queen of Energy as well, which is worth pointing out, because obviously if you lose the Queen of Energy, you are losing potential transfuses as the game goes by. He's going to warp in towards the 4th base here, and Snute doesn't really have an immediate answer to this, so let's just cancel that. And well, think again about why he wants the 4th. It's so intriguing that he wants to expand down this right-hand side. So often you'll see Zergs, they take this base, this base, this base. Then this base becomes the sort of next option for them, then the base up here, and just basically really expand away from their opponent, because, there's, if you're expanding the very top side of the map, there's no way you're moving towards the opponent at all. Moving down the right-hand side does create these kind of, openings for maybe Drogo to kind of be a bit closer from his own 4th base pushing across, for example. So, it's intriguing. Snute isn't obviously too bothered about which base he takes, because he is now just going to go for the top side base after having the 4th base initially cancelled. So he's obviously, if he really wanted the base here, I'm sure he would have just tried to retake it here, but he'll just reposition up top instead. As some hallucinations flying around, Drogo trying to continue picking up information, trying to continue figuring out what is going down as the Spore Crawler will help to get rid of one of those hallucinations right there. Well, Spine's coming down as well. Snute just preparing for what is going to be a typical kind of Protoss late game here, which is just as the Protoss builds up, he's going to be throwing hundreds and hundreds of Zealots towards the Zerg bases, around the Zerg's main natural 3rd, 4th, everywhere. And obviously if Snute has some stack defense to help with that, it gives him more time and more kind of, energy to kind of focus on attacking, on not, pulling back time and time again. As we're going to see, well, that's obviously nice already. The Prism going down. We talked a bit about that in the last game, how important that Prism can be, as Archons have to morph in again. No Storm available on those right away. And so this attack is starting off very favorable to Snute, getting rid of those High Templar and forcing those Archons in. However, as overcharges keep coming down, the Roach Hide will have to back away. And, well, not really too many tech units lost here from Drogo, which is oftentimes the important thing to take note of. If he keeps his Immortals and Archons alive, his army very much so does become stronger, whereas Snoot's army still is very much so just continue to be Roach Hydra being built again and again. As we see some force fields coming down, Snoot's a little bit trapped in. Those Zealots tanking yet again. Now pulling back as the force fields will not allow them to do too much more. However, Snoot's got reinforcements arriving, some Zerglings coming in, trying to chase those Immortals down with the help of the Hydras. Will not happen here just yet. He'll have to pull back away in towards the center of the map all over again. So Snute pulls back into the center. And we've seen 7 more Hydras on the way up, and Immortal on the way out of this robot facility, +2 attack. Still just about halfway done. Time is on Drogo's side here, though. As time passes, he really gets up. More Mortals, more Archons. His composition becomes better as more of these units come out here. Snoot's composition, that doesn't quite hold as true. I mean, Hydras can be very powerful as they gather up in numbers. Well, actually, especially as Drogo doesn't have Storm, I wonder why he still hasn't researched Storm. This is the second. I feel as the last game it was a mistake that I didn't get Storm, because all of a sudden these High Templar he was saving energy on suddenly became Archons. And I feel as though it's going to be the same scenario here. These High Templar, and they're not morphing into Archons, so they're waiting to be able to Storm. As the Hydra count increases, Storm really is just so vital to be able to help defend. But if the ship core goes down, there's not going to be overcharges available here as Drogo. When does he realize that he doesn't have Storm on these High Templar, and at least morphs them into Archons to be somewhat useful in all of this? Meanwhile, a little bit of a run by went in towards the 3rd base. A few Hydras still up here picking off a pylon, giving Snute maybe the possibility to attack back in. I love this from Snute, just pulling back and actually just making the most out of these units. Even just forcing units to be dragged away. Even if he, loses these, or well, maybe he won't because he's got reinforcements coming through. Just really making the most of every single unit here. Instead of just letting those units be killed off, you make sure to pay attention to them. And again, just really finding value wherever he can as we see this attack coming in again. Now Storm is going to start researching from Drogo. But is that too late? Is it going to be here in time to really help against these Hydra numbers? Again, the counterattack or the follow-up kind of reinforces the Snute, continue to be pushed away to the northern side. Snute still gathering a lot down to the south. Getting ready to push through once again here in a few moments. Again, another wave of reinforcements does catch those Zealots that went on up north. Sounds nice from Snute. He's staying around the maxed out marker, but Drogo's supply is rising. Now at 150 or so. He's in this sort of position again where the Archon count is looking good. He's about to have Storm as well. Drogo's about to be playing with the composition he wants here as we see Ling Hydra will come in from the northern side and he will start to fight the straggling units which are sent to deal with this. Drogo's kind of in a bit of a tough spot here as well. This one little gateway is actually choking up this area and really making it difficult for Drogo to fight through here. Losing an Archon there as he is being pushed backwards to the northern side as well, and Snute making a lot of progress right now. As the Archons go down, the Zealots have dropped also, and Drogo still has to figure out how he engages this from two different angles. As we do see a few more Zealots coming in to join the fray. Hydra's still poking forwards, backing away. Snute just realizing that the numbers are still kind of, on his side in terms of taking this fight. There's the High Templar though, and he is just going to back away. And when I say numbers on his side, I mean he realizes that there's a lot of units there, but it means that he can take the fight on the top side instead, so he doesn't commit to the south. Just again using these units in position to make sure that he keeps on buying himself time to do damage to the north, and just kind of allows him to be annoying in general. We'll pick off one and two Archons, maybe not two. Right now he gets that second one there. As we do see a few of those Hydras just pulling back slightly over to the right hand side. 7 more Hydras being built, plus 2 missile attack is about halfway done here from Snute as well, plus 3 attack on that forge coming through also. A few more Zealots just warping in. There's a lot of Ling Hydra going in to the left hand side here. Snute is interesting because again he hasn't really created a transition with this, and even though Drogo's Storm etc is very late, well, he's survived, and now he does have all the tools he needs to defend against this. The question is, has Snute done enough damage? Has he withered down enough of those kind of heavy attack units, the Immortals and Archons, to be able to take a larger fight now at a later stage of this game? That's what this has all been about. Efficiency from Snute and just stopping Drogo from getting to a critical mass of Archons, Immortals and whatever else. It's a big concave for Snute, but as the storms come down, I feel as though it's a bit of a precursor as to how this fight is already heading, because those Hydras are just melting. Now the Immortals are a little bit exposed, but there's still storms available, and these Hydras are dropping so quickly as Zealots charge on through for his reinforcements. Snute will lose out the majority of this army. In fairness, not much remains from Drogo. 1, 2, 3 Immortals and Archon. But Snute's just going to type out GG well played. He knows, he knows he's in this situation where the rebuilding of Drogo's army is only going to be well. So if you are a subscriber, do check your Twitch inbox for the brand new fresh replay pack. Over 100 new replays played over the last 2 weeks or sooner. So do make sure you check that out if you're interested. If you are interested in getting the replay packs, guys, subscribe today and we'll give you both the replay packs we've sent out in August already. It features over 250 replays from players such as Innovation, Stats, Sue, Snute, Drogo, all these guys, really all the top players around. So do get those subs in. If you want to get that replay pack, I can send it over to you during the breaks, etc. If you are interested. We'll also be running a sub tournament probably next week, I'd like to say. So get your eyes open for that as well. Get yourselves ready. Get on that ladder. Practice up. As for now, though, we do set up into game number 2 of this best of 2. This is Snute's map pick. And let's see if he can try and get a tie, a draw out of this series. Okay, help keep his position in this group. So the top left-hand side, our Blue Zerg player from Team Liquid. It is Snute. He plays against the Red Protoss player to the bottom right-hand side of the map from Mayan Santi, PtitDrogo. Snute didn't tech up during that last wave, couldn't have remaxed current army. I think the issue is for Snute, he's just realizing that he's at a point where if he doesn't break him now, why would he break him with the next wave of the exact same unit composition? Drogo's been sitting on 4 bases, 70 workers, his Immortal and Archon count just keeps growing, and if Snute can't break him already, it becomes less and less likely as time goes on. It's how the kind of situation works, I suppose. with that kind of combination of kind of units or unit compositions going against each other, where Snute really is sort of on a time, he's on a ticker where either he has to do damage to the point where he can keep on building units and then overwhelm, or he has to do enough damage to buy himself time to tech up in towards, in towards his later game tech or hive and whatever else. He chose not to tech up in this game, but he also just didn't find himself the momentum he needed to then break through with that Ling Hydra army for the most part. So it was an interesting one. I think something that was really missing for Snute was because he played the missile upgrade, he played kind of Roach Hydra initially. What he was never able to really do was he was never able to get kind of like Baneland drops into mineral lines, etc. He was at no point able to really slow down the economy of PtitDrogo. There was a couple moments where he killed like 5 workers while pushing a base, but he never really did masses of eco damage, or even threatened eco damage with kind of drop-based play. And I feel as though that's something the ZvP player needs to try and find in the ZvP matchup if they want to be successful, because if you do let the Protoss player get up to 70 workers, and all they have to do is focus on defending, while it can be hard to split your units up in different positions and make sure they're in 2 different locations, etc., while that's difficult, it's much more difficult if you have to do that while also pulling your probes away from the main base. It just gives the Zerg player more opportunities to force mistakes and to force cracks in the defense, which they can then exploit to gain themselves an advantage, to play themselves into a much stronger and a much better position in general. Early game will be Stargate based this time out of Drogo, the first Oracle, coming across the map here. And just as we have this setting on up, thank you very much, Milius Pro, who has donated $5. Says, keep up the great work, Wardy, with a heart on the end as well. Guys, give it some love in the chat, please. Amelia's Pro on the $5 donation. Thank you very much for the support. Do you appreciate the love, man? Do you appreciate the love? Let's see some love in the chat, please, for our donator. Thank you very much for supporting the stream. Because if you guys enjoying the stream, do not forget, hit that follow button so we go live in the future. Catch us with all of our live StarCraft 2 action. We're going to be live pretty much every single day for the next month or so, more or less, as far as I can tell. I have no other plans to be going anywhere for a good little while, so lots and lots of streams coming your way in the near future is what you guys need to know. Charlie Council and the Forge dropping down here from PtitDrogo. Going to see this Oracle comes on over to the left-hand side of the map and hasn't really found damage just yet. This is the second Oracle, the first one up top. Got denied from the stasis ward he was trying to place down in the mineral line, so he got denied from that. And so far the Oracles have been fairly unsuccessful in terms of dealing damage. 2 Queens and a Spore here. And once again, we're going to be in a very similar situation as Snute just going to target down the Stasis. Love that. Target the Stasis with 2 Queens. It gets cancelled. All of a sudden, the Oracle's wasted energy and just isn't able to really do much else. Snute straight into missile upgrade once again. This time there was a stasis in the main base. And it does catch free workers and the Queen. And that does slow Snute down just a little bit here, especially on some of his gas mines. So we'll have a little bit of an effect as that Hydra Den already on the way. And this is going to be kind of a pretty scary number of Hydras, I feel, coming out of Snute in the near future. Really much more committed than maybe what you usually see. They might even just look to kind of cut on kind of 65-ish workers and just spam Hydras and Lings to back it up. And really just try and kill Drogo very, very early on in this. Drogo's opening looks very similar to what we saw him using against Cham when he opened with the Stargate, which is just go straight in towards charge, +1. The Prism with the 5 extra gates coming up. Templar Archives as well. Pretty much all the tools he needs for the mid-game starting to come up here. As we're going to be seeing the couple of Oracles in towards the main, and just going to be doing a little bit of damage here and there. Poking away and trying to pick off again, drawn or 2 wherever possible. 10 Lings, 10 Hydra is going to continue to pop on out as we're going to see those gates finishing in the next few moments. As those gates keep on finishing, the Templar Archives coming on down in the natural expansion. We mentioned this before, and really used as reconfirmation that, the Protoss player is getting set up into that position of the game where he wants it to be. With his charge and +1 finish, those aggressive opportunities for Drogo become a little bit more viable. 64 drones, Ling Hydra production, no Baneland Nest, no Banelings, just pure Ling Hydra. And he's just going to try and bust Drogo down very early on in this game. Again, does not really want to go along with this. Ling Hydra over time is not going to be the be-all and end-all of Snute's composition. It's not going to be the greatest. But earlier game, when the Immortal count is low, the Argon count is currently just at 1. This is when you can break through in this sort of composition and just catch the Protoss a bit off guard. So let's see what PtitDrogo's defense will look like. as we get set up into this. Just going to push through. These rocks will fall. 74 army supply to 48 pushing through here, which is quite a lot. This isn't like a roach-based army where it's like, okay, well, that's sort of normal. Like, Link Hydra is not kind of supply inefficient like roaches. And here you go. The first side is going to start pushing on forwards here. The Lings are ready to back them up. Obviously, initial overcharges are here too. A couple of force fields. We'll see Snute just slowly kind of kiting backwards slightly away from this. Mothership Core taking some hits. One of these pylons getting low, but doesn't go down. Snute, with enough reinforcements coming through here, and he is going to keep on fighting this. The overcharges are now going to be dissipating. Did Snute just sit a little bit too long in those, though, I wonder? Would it have been better for him to back away? Or did he really need to sit there and deal that damage? You see the Prism in the main. Gets rid of a Queen, and well, it's just a bit of a distraction. Slows reinforcements from crossing the map, which means that now Drogo has a little bit more time before he has to deal with another wave of units, which means he has more mortals, and again, just tech-based units ready for the next attack. And is it already maybe time here for Snute to start thinking about a follow-up to this Link Hydra playstyle? Because right now, he's just going to go for round 2. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to find real success with that, though. A few more Archons coming into play here now. And Link Hydra forces setting up once again. Snute replaces the Queen from his main base. He has a good number of Queens, just needs to keep on injecting all over. Anyways, this fight does begin. A couple of Zealots going down now. The Archons are exposed, but is it enough Hydras to really make a difference? Even as those Archons go down, there's still the Immortals in the back, which can be very tanky. But right now, very much so on their own against a large number of Hydras. The Zealots coming in will help, of course. Overcharge buys again a few more seconds potentially, or at least stop Snute from attacking in certain directions. And there's 2 more Archons once more. Still, there's 4 Mortals staying alive, and that's very important to keep note of because, again, 4 Mortals still alive means 4 Mortals that can still be used here. Love this Contaminate. It's actually really slowing down one of these Immortals from popping out, and that's kind of huge in this sort of stage of the game, stopping further units from popping out here for Drogo. It actually could make the difference in the defense to some extent. We see Immortals are now dropping, and it looks as though this Immortal goes down as well. It's pretty much just going to be game over, I think, actually. I don't think Drogo's going to find a way to defend this any longer. GG called. Snute is going to be able to take that. It is going to be game number 2 going Snute's way, and these guys end